Town council to order. Pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
A motion to adopt the agenda.
I move that we adopt the agenda as written.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Motion carries. A motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of May 9th.
I move that we approve the minutes as written of the meeting, regular meeting, town council, May 9th, 2023.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, at this time, we're at the public remarks section. Please come up to the mic. Try and keep your comments to 3 minutes. State your name and address. No.
No, he. Okay. So we have a couple hands.
Hi, 2717 Curry Lane. I'm just here to let the town council know that I will be voting no 2-0 on the budget referendum for both the town and the Board of Education budgets, and I will continue to influence and I'll continue to influence for others to do the same. So basically what I'm looking for is to restore the budgets for both the town and the Board of Education, especially for schools, ambulance, fire, police, critical services that are needed within our town. Thank you.
Karen One at 35 Long Crossing Road. I agree with Tadia, and I will be continuing to advocate for no 2-0 on the both budgets as well.
Matt Engelhardt, 27 Bevan Boulevard. I echo colleagues over here that I will probably be voting no 2-0. I believe this budget short changes both the town side and the education side. I also want to address some comments made about how the Board of Ed could handle post-cut instead of cutting teachers. I heard an interview where it was suggested that perhaps staff could be let go. And I'm wondering if anybody here knows what it's like in a classroom right now, what's going on, and how a school is so much more than teachers and educators, than teachers. Educators are everybody. You need everyone in the building to be on the same team, to be doing their jobs. You need paraprofessionals. You need cafeteria workers. You need custodians. You need specialists of all kinds. A school is so much more than just teachers. And we cannot afford to lose any more of the people that make our school such a special place.
Thank you. My name is Russ Kaplan. I chair the East Hampton Clean Energy Task Force. I just wanted to let you all know, and I'm glad it's always being broadcast, that our annual electric car show is scheduled for a week from this coming Saturday. So it's going to be on June 3rd, looking like a nice day. The rain date is the 4th. So we have the turnout for the cars, the dealerships. We have some energy companies. Our local bicycle shop is always in the show. Any proceeds from sales of beverages and the snacks, we're working now with the high school. It goes to benefit the high school athletics program. And so what I want to do at this time is invite the town council to come to our show and support our show with their presence. Town manager and others and certain members of the council have come in the past, and we always appreciate it. Departments have supported us, police, public works, and it's particularly Park and Rec. They do a crackerjack job in supporting our event every year. So please, we would like to see as many of our council members at our events. And this event coming up in a little over a week and a half. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Any other members of the public? Don't want to raise their hands, features, so. Item 5, no presentations. Item 6, we have no bids or contracts. 7, no resolutions. 8, continued business, subcommittee reports. So does anyone have anything to report at this time? No. All right, hearing none, going on to B, update the repairs to the high school tennis court.
Jerry Hall is finishing a staff meeting with his seasonal staff, so he's apparently not going to get here. What you have in front of you is what was prepared by the contractor, and I presume consultation with others. The committee was there, did some evaluations with the contractor. So the proposal is to saw cut the existing or the newly created cracks that have developed in the surface, to fill those with appropriate backer rod and caulking, and then redo the surface, the playing surface, the paint surface at the top. I don't know whether there's more to be said about that, but that's the proposal. The other important piece of this is they have agreed to extend their warranties an additional year. So we have that benefit of another year on the warranty.
So reviewing this, these solid red lines, I assume that's where the saw cuts are going to be. You've got 2 running horizontal and then 1 vertical. Is that correct?
That is my understanding, confirmed this afternoon with the Park and Rec director.
Are there cracks in those exact positions and that's why they're picking those points?
Yes. There is a joint underneath the tennis nets, which is of course the one in the middle. That is a deliberate joint that they knew would be a fail point. That's sort of an intentional crack location. So they're going to make sure they open that up, reback that and caulk that. The others are of course not intentional and are where those are lining up, where those cracks are lining up.
Has Matt Walsh reviewed this?
I do not know the answer to that. I can certainly ask him.
I would really want his opinion on it, seeing how he's our road expert, because looking at this, I am truly not happy with these repairs. I was hoping they would come in with a mill and overlay of the asphalt. Because if we're experiencing after, what, 4 or 6 months, these type of cracks, what are we gonna expect in a year? And I know when you start caulking asphalt, it's a Band-Aid. It's not a permanent fix. And the price we paid for these tennis courts, I would think, I wouldn't think or even heard of them cracking this early.
Sure. I'll have our Public Works Director, Matt Walsh, take a look. And I'll also ask Kevin Fusler, who is the engineer working with us on this, to give his written opinion as well.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you. Anyone else have any comments for David? Hearing none. Item 9, new business, set a public hearing for review of Neighborhood Assistance Act applications. Have a motion.
So just as a quick one, just to remind everybody, Neighborhood Assistance Act is the program whereby businesses make contributions to community groups for various types of improvements that they're going to undertake, energy improvements or various other types. Then those businesses get a tax credit from the state of Connecticut on their business income tax. This year, we anticipate, as always, to get an application from Epic Arts. They continue to use these funds pretty routinely to do improvements to their facility, make energy improvements and the like. Additionally, as you'll remember from, some of you will recall from conversations at the Capital Committee, And as my material to the council indicated, the town will actually make its first application, or at least most recent application, under these, for these funds as well, to use to make lighting conversions at one of the schools. I think they're going to target Memorial School. We're getting those prices finalized now. So that's what we're going to go for. And as you'll recall, those of you that were at that committee meeting, we'll try and solicit our neighborhood businesses and encourage them to participate in the program, because they, for energy improvements, would get 100% dollar for dollar match on their credit, on their taxes. So.
Very good.
So it would be appropriate for you to set a public hearing for your next meeting, June 13th.
Motion, do a such. So moved. And have a second. Second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No, motion carries. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I guess Clayton, you're up next. Consideration of FY 2023-2024 public water system operating budget and water rate recommendation.
Good evening, council. My name is Scott Clayton. I'm the Public Utilities Administrator. Presenting to you the first read of the town water budget. This year, it's a 1.6% increase for the overall budget. Amounts to about $3,800 increase. The problem is I do have to increase the rates this year. I haven't increased them in 4 years. Planning on going up 50 cents per 1,000 gallons, which equates to 0.05 cents per gallon. I really have no choice. We'll increase the water rates to $12 per gallon from $11.50. For a normal person per month, that's probably $1.50 per month increase. Most people tend to use about 3,000 gallons. It is scheduled for public hearing, June 6th. The water treatment facility. Again, this is the first read, so I'm just letting you see what's going on and where we're headed.
Oh, thank you. I'm impressed that you can keep your rate at only 1.6%.
And it was a struggle.
Companies like H2O went up 10% this year.
Mhm.
So you did a great job and thank you. You know, at this point, you don't need anything from us. Otherwise, this is just an informational meeting.
This is just basic information. Again, a public hearing will be held June 6th, WPCA, and then I'll bring it back for a vote.
Thank you, Scott. Appreciate it. Item C, discussion and possible action of typographical error on the tax relief ordinance.
Thank you. As the council is aware, earlier this year, you adopted 2 ordinances related to tax relief. In drafting of those ordinances, I believed I made a mistake, and I will ask you to confirm that I made a mistake. In drafting those ordinances, I inadvertently indicated that those ordinances would take effect with the grand list of 2023. I think your intent was that people who are paying taxes in July of this year would benefit from these tax relief incentives that you've created. By inadvertently using the phrase October 1, 2023, I pushed out the effective date an entire year. So if you will confirm that I've made that mistake, I would just think it's appropriate that you make a motion to correct the scrivener's errors and make the ordinances effective this year for taxes due on the grand list of October 1, 2022.
Would someone like to make that motion? Have a motion and a second? Second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you, David. Motion.
Thank you. We'll
carries.
correct those and get them executed.
Item D, we have 5 general orders before us. Does anybody have any questions for the chief on these?
Thanks.
I have a quick one. Yep, sorry.
Yes, sir.
Chief. Good evening, Chief.
How you doing, sir?
I didn't see it here and I did read through them and I'm hoping it's somewhere else and maybe another general order of basic knowledge or conduct. But is there somewhere where it's stated that they should read and maintain a familiarity with the Constitution.
Their oath of
Well, they
office,
swore an oath to
Yeah.
uphold the Constitution,
that'd be the only one that I'm aware of.
yeah, but you can't uphold an oath if you haven't read the document and don't maintain knowledge of it.
There's no requirement that they read the Constitution of the United States.
Doesn't it seem like there should be? That's one of the primary things you're supposed to do is uphold someone's constitutional rights. Is it something we can look into?
Sure, we can look into it,
Thank you.
but I don't, do you want me to have them read, what I'm trying to figure out, you want me to have them read the entire Constitution of the United States?
I think they should read the Constitution at least once.
I'm sure they've done it in
That is the
school at
supreme
some
law of the
point.
land.
I'm sure they've done it at some point in school.
Mr. Chairman, may I ask a question of Dennis?
Certainly.
Dennis, what kind of training do they get on the constitutional issues that they face? And is
So-
that done regularly?
Every police,
Notwithstanding, of course, the reading of the document itself,
Right.
but
so as, thank you for bringing that up, as part of the police academy, they're required to take a test on constitutional standards. Specifically as they apply to some federal laws, search and seizure, whether it be laws of arrest, the Constitution, the Fourth Amendment, all the different amendments. So that is covered in the police academy. I don't believe they read it verbatim, the Constitution, but it's covered in their initial 6 months of training to some degree. Yearly, they receive training, and every 3 years are required to receive 60+ hours of remedial training. Of that covers some aspects of the Constitution, like laws of arrest, search and seizure, because that's forever changing. So they're always continually getting updates on the constitutional standards. So to answer your question, do I know if they read it verbatim? No.
And I wasn't trying to do a gotcha.
No,
But I feel like it is something that just to kind of,
Quite
you
frankly,
haven't read through it at least once and you're in law enforcement and that is the supreme law of the land.
it is. That's why we cover Fourth Amendment, Fifth Amendment, Sixth Amendment, Seventh Amendment, Eighth Amendment, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th.
I think it would be nice to have some kind of requirement to have a little more intimate familiarity with it.
It's not a requirement that every police officer reads the Constitution of the United States before they become a police officer.
No, I
They
understand
study
that,
it,
but
and
we could set the bar a little higher. And just.
I don't believe,
I'm not gonna require
Councilman
them to
Peterson,
read
that
it,
it's
you know,
required.
and read it cover to cover, but
Yeah.
there should be some requirement that you're quite familiar with it.
They graduate as police officers from the police academy,
Right.
certifying that they are able to enforce the laws of the United States. And there's no requirement that they read the Constitution cover to cover.
Okay.
And I do not believe the educated police officers that I have, there is a requirement that I now hold them after they've all graduated from the police academy to read the Constitution of the United States.
You don't think it's valid?
The Constitution is valid. I don't think it's required, should be required that my police officers are required to read it after they've graduated from the police academy.
Well, they should have read it during the police academy, but that's. All right, I didn't expect pushback, to be honest with you, on reading the Constitution as a law enforcement officer.
I studied the Constitution as a law enforcement officer. I'm not pushing back.
Okay, I think, I'm sorry. I think we
Okay.
can move on. I do have a question for you, Chief, while
Thank
you're
you,
up there on
Chief.
section 8-4, page 11.
Yes, sir.
Okay, under the, your evaluations, you have 3 different evaluations that you put your officers through. And I see you're scratching the word form, and my only question is, does that mean there is no written evaluation of how this officer performed?
There is it's an initial discussion on the initial of it, and then there actually is a form, actual evaluation form that the entire town uses. And that's what I'm referring to when it comes down to as part of the employee performance evaluation. That's how the town form is worded.
Okay. All right, it's just, like, it's everything, Jesus, I wouldn't want the evaluation sitting down, having a conversation, and that's the end of it without any documentation. as to how
No,
the
so
Evaluation went.
In the back, and I apologize if you didn't get it, is the actual town of East Hampton performance review and development form that we use.
Nope, it's there. Okay,
No, there's definitely a form.
all right, that was my only question, thank you. Anyone else have any questions for the chief? Hearing none, we have a motion to approve.
I would like to make a motion to approve general order 4.3, general order 5.10, general order 8.4, general order 8.12, and general order 8.13.
Do I have a second? Second. A motion and a second, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you very much.
E, discussion and possible action regarding the reinstatement of payments to Edgewater Hill developers. Well, a few months ago, whenever it was, we decided to hold back a little bit after the road repaired. The repairs have been done, and I believe it was satisfactory. So we have a motion to reinstate the payments. So move. Have a second. Second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Town manager's report. David, anything to highlight?
Yes, please, if I may, I just want to highlight three things that were in, I think they were in the report, or if not, I will just mention them here. First off, I want to indicate that the police department truck that we've seen in the report and talked about here is finally in our hands. Well, actually, it's not in our hands currently. It's been received and is at the department there, the entity that we use for doing its outfitting. So it's being outfitted and marked in the next week or two. And we should have that back in the first week or so of June and have that out on the road. Related to that, the vehicle that it's replacing is also being, if you will, unmarked or demarked, however you want to call it. And we'll be transferring that over to animal control, actually, because they've had significant issues with the vehicle that they have. So we'll be moving that out fairly soon. The other two items I just want to reference are chip sealing, just a notice to the community. The chip sealing will begin next week on Hog Hill, Herd Park, Adamnick Road, Brook Hill, Collie Brook, and Wapawag. Those residents are aware that we've been out there doing some prep work, as I've talked about here in the past, or certainly in the report in the past. So that chip sealing work will be coming up, and the residents in those areas should expect all the loveliness that goes along with construction in front of their house. And the last thing I'll mention, of course, is reminding the community referendum is a week from today here in this building, in this room, from 6 a.m. until 8 p.m. Our fingers are crossed that we've made enough contingency plans for parking and everything that we need to do to hold a referendum here at this building. But I understand from the registrars that if people have comments, they'll certainly have a way for people to provide them to us for us to consider. So here, Town Hall, next Tuesday, the 30th, right after Memorial Day, referendum on the budgets. Those are my items. If there's any questions, I'll certainly take them.
So, Allison?
Yes, it's DPW Appreciation Week this week.
It is.
And what are you doing?
We're normally what we would do for DPW Appreciation Week is the director would basically buy them lunch, or actually I think he cooks them lunch. And so if I can, I'll join them and thank them on your behalf.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions to the town manager?
Okay, nothing was going to ask. Thank you.
Thank you. Appointments tonight? Tax refunds.
I move that we approve the tax refund for the amount of $967.33.
Second. Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, carries. Thank you. And back to public comments. Please come up, state your name and address. You have any? Hearing none. Communication, correspondence, or announcements. Any more, David?
No, sir, nothing more.
Okay, with that, I'm going to have a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.